what's going on, guys? This is Miss and welcome to episode 3 of the deck reviews. And as you can probably tell, I finally made the Discord server, so from now on the link will be in the description box below. You guys won't have to submit, by actually writing down the ratios and stuff. That was a pretty big job for you guys. So what I will ask you now is either the DB file or the EDO profile. I guess it's YXP or something like that. If you can give me that, as well as some combos potentially. You don't have to for the combos or replays of you playing out the game. Well, the deck, sorry. Well, it's actually gonna be better for me. It's gonna be an easier job, but like I said, the deck profile is enough, and I'm going to try to make these videos as much as I possibly can. So as long as I keep getting more decklist submissions, I might actually start making these series like daily. Yeah, I'm not even joking you. If I can make daily deck reviews, it would be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, before you start, friendly reminder to like and subscribe, because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. This one actually is really freaking interesting and really spicy. So as you can tell, this is actually a Mekk-Knight Brandish or Sky Striker deck. A really freaking cool, man. He's actually not opted to play, he's opted not to play any hand traps. So yeah, I mean, let's dive right in. And of course, I'm going to give you my personal version of this deck, the way I probably would have built it. So let's get into it. Of course, he's playing 3 Nightfall. I mean, it's kind of the best one, right? Sorry. As well as 2 Blue Skies. I can understand why Blue Sky is only a 2, because Purple Nightfall, even when you're going first, it's good. It searches just proactively. It doesn't require your opponent to have any columns. So if you can build your own columns, which isn't that hard, because just any Sky Striker monster is a monster in the extra monster zone, and then you set any card literally just beneath it, you can actually summon your Purple Nightfall, tag out, search a Blue Sky, and then you kind of get an engine going. Next turn you get back your Purple Nightfall, but Blue Sky isn't really like that, so definitely good ratio 3-2. And then 1, because if your Blue Sky can search 2 monsters, well, Indigo Eclipse would be one of the best ones, and also it's a level 8, so 8 plus 8 equals ding ding ding. But don't worry, there is another way for him to make Galatea and Dear Girso. Sorry, I just spoiled it. Well, yeah, basically Orcus Girso is a card that you can also search with Blue Sky and Purple Nightfall, since it is also a Mekk-Knight, as well as being an Orcus, which is pretty broken. You can make Galatea. It's pretty much a 1-card combo, but the thing is, oh sorry, it doesn't foolish anything in this deck. You're not playing any Orcus cards, so it's just not optimal. It still makes sense to play, I guess, to a certain extent. It's just that this is the one card I don't think I would be playing, since you're already playing other normal summons. If you're playing like Orcus to Mekk-Knight, then it would have been a completely different story, because then you could, even pure Mekk-Knight, it would have been a different story. It would have been probably your best normal summon, but in this deck, I just don't know, man. It clashes with Ray, Rose, all that, so yeah. And also he's playing 1 Pankratops and only 1 Rose for the 3 Ray, which also makes sense, by the way, because this is, this could definitely get bricky if you draw like too many with like Mekk-Knight cards, whereas Ray is just the better Sky Striker monster. And yeah, Pankratops, why not? And it's better than Zoo King Alpha, so definitely a good option for him to main deck instead of the Zoo King Alpha. And his deck is really oriented to go second, so I feel like if you're trying to make this guy go first, he's probably going to be suffering a bit more, since, all the Mekk-Knight monsters outside of Purple Nightfall, they don't really do anything going first. The Sky Strikers are good, they give you stability, and then Mystic Mine is also another one of those kind of unplayable cards going first, but at the same time, it's not that bad, because at least it gives you a turn, as long as your opponent doesn't just make a Phoenix. So this is why, if you can actually combine it with a Widow Anchor or Droplet here is nasty. You send the monster and your opponent is actually locked under the Mystic Mine. So yeah, if he doesn't try to summon any monster, he's screwed. And then you can just turn off your Mystic Mine super easily, either with Area 0 or multi-roll. Just activate another Area 0. Even Mystic Mine isn't out to your own Mystic Mine. You can just set it. Anyways, moving forward, he's actually playing Regeki, which I also kind of dislike, because in theory, on paper, it's really good. It destroys all monsters your opponent controls, but then on practice, when you actually start playing the card, you start realizing that destroying all monsters your opponent controls translates to bait 1 negate your opponent has. So it's like, it's not that great, and when it does resolve, I feel like it's only destroying monsters that your opponent didn't really care about anyways, because they don't have negation effects. Yeah, whatever Regeki can do is something that your engine can already do, but it's just adding more I don't know, flaws or just more weaknesses to your deck. It is making your deck even more going second oriented, which is okay to have an going second oriented deck, but again, if this guy gets forced to go first in like a YCS or something, starting from like round 8 or something, everybody knows what you're playing because your deck is basically kind of public knowledge. It's going to be on the Konami blog where people are going to be like, oh, this guy's playing Mekk-Knight Sky Striker. Yeah, it looks like a going second deck. I'm just going to make you go first if I win the dice roll. So if you start drawing too many of these cards, it's not going to be really worth it. So yeah. Anyways, Reinforcement of the Army, multi-roll, Hornet Drones. Okay, Forbidden Chalice. That's an interesting one because he's already playing a 3 Forbidden Drop, and your deck already plays a Forbidden Chalice kind of esque card, so I think this is a surplus card. I really don't think you need something like this. If anything, maybe Imperm would be better at this point. But Forbidden Chalice, I don't really get the logic. If you can explain to me, that would be nice, because personally, I don't think I get it. But yeah, and also one Shark Cannon. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's searchable makes it so it's kind of okay to play 1. Otherwise, if you were playing pure Sky Striker, 3 would probably be the better number. But no, I mean, since this is kind of a hybrid deck, I'm not going to argue with this. It seems logical. And 2 Area 0 is also logical because of the fact that you play another kind of field spell, so this is often going to just get replaced. But don't worry, because there's also just a multi-roll, sorry, in order to kind of transform this into a ray before you activate your Mystic Mine, which is also nice. And also, the multi-roll resolving is nasty because the Mystic Mine is just going to completely destroy your opponent. Same thing with Tactic Talents. Like, all those spell cards become so powerful once your multi-roll actually resolves. It's ridiculous. Like the effect of your opponent cannot respond to the spells. Not just the effect of Spell of Book of Judgment, you know, the one that actually gets you back all those resources back in the graveyard. Sorry, during the end phase, Jesus. Anyways, 3 Tactical Talents. He's actually playing 3 this time, so I can actually finally say 3 Tactical Talents. Now, is 3 a correct number? I don't know. Maybe if you draw 2, it kind of defeats the purpose of even playing the card in the first place. But I guess this is a control deck. Personally, I wouldn't play 3, I would play 2. So I guess that's another one of the changes I brought into this deck list, but yeah. Anyways, he's also playing 3 Pot of Prosperity alongside 3 Afterburners. This is something that I can definitely understand because of the fact that it ends up on practice being kind of like the same thing as Regeki, since both of them just bait 1 negate. But the cool thing about Afterburner is that even against a control deck, at least this does something, whereas Regeki does nothing. Like, if you go Afterburner to destroy a monster and the Speller Trap, it actually has real value, whereas Regeki, it's going to destroy monsters that just are all vanilla monsters, whereas the real important thing is their back row. So Afterburner is really, really interesting. I'm pretty happy that this guy actually went to play 3. And now this is something that I find a bit weird when people do. 2 Desires and 3 Prosperity. The thing is, I don't think Sky Striker is great with Prosperity. I don't think I would play it. Maybe 1, but at this point, you should just play Upstart and 3 Desires, no? Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of seeing something like that. Especially, well, okay, no, you know what? His extra deck, it's easy to banish, actually, cards. Galatea, Dingirsu, and Zeus. These are, but yeah, but that's the thing. He's probably always gonna go Prosperity Banish 3. Unless you want to give up your Unicorn Access Code and one of the Hayates or one of the Shizukus, but I don't know, or maybe Kaina? Yeah, Prosperity is a bit weak. I don't know, and also, all the cards just almost do the same thing. You'd rather go for card advantage, I feel like. You know, if you already have Ray in your hand, what's going to make your hand 20 times better? That's what you have to ask yourself when you play a card like Prosperity. Whereas Desires, pretty nice because you're getting 2 cards, even though they're probably like weaker cards, because obviously in the Sky Striker deck, the cards aren't really powerful. It's just they all do kind of the same thing in a way. He's already playing like 6, 7 Forbidden Chalices with a card that hurts the opponent's graveyard, like an insta-win, basically. Another really high-power card, the Regeki, 4 Rays and a Rose, a bunch of Mekk-Knights. So you see how all the cards are just really similar? That's the reason why Prosperity, I am not a big fan of it, and I actually cut it in my personal version, but yeah. Anyways, Forbidden Drop, Widow Anchor, Mystic Mine, yeah, all that makes sense. But for the extra deck, really real quick, because there's nothing much to explain since all these 8 cards or 9 9 cards with Zeke, I guess, are pretty self-explanatory. Did I just say 8? No, that's actually 10, sorry. No, 9, yeah, plus 10. Yeah, exactly. That's 10 cards, if I don't suck at maths. But anyways, there is also Galatea plus or Unicorn, Access Code, Din Girsu, and Zeus. And for the idea section / side deck, Zooking Alpha, an interesting one, but honestly, I don't think it would bother, because if you summon this a second time, you start locking your own main monster zone, so you'd have to either Xyz summon with it or link off with it, and either way, it's just a really sad usage of a monster with 3000 attack and level 8 in this deck. So just because of the constraints of all the Sky Striker spells, it doesn't really look that great. And then the Gadarla Kaiju, yeah, this is the Kaiju that you should be playing because of the Wind Barrier statue, so nicely done. This is whatever if you want to play Hand Traps, Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster. Gemming Waves, I don't think you need it anymore. Afterburners is just much better now. I think the majority of people can agree with me. And then Upstart Goblin Monster why do I have Monster Reborn here? It's also gonna be in my other deck. Oopsies. Yeah, because I always copy paste when I create deck lists. But anyways, Called by the Grave, Imperm, Evenly, Ice Dragon's Prison, and Solemn Judgment. These are pretty good cards when you think you're going first. Even though I think I would probably splash in Summon Limit, and there can only be one personally. All these are psychic, right? Okay, yeah. And then you have your warrior and your machine monsters. Yeah, I mean, there can only be one looks pretty good, and Summon Limit looks pretty respectable as well. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile of my homie who actually submitted the deck list. Now let's get into my own version, I guess. All right, so there it is. It's, I guess, pretty similar, but what you can already see is that I'm playing 5 Hand Traps and I'm not playing Prosperity. I'm playing 3 Desires, and I actually cut down the 3 Tactical Talons down to 2, and apart from that, all the ratios are identical. I mean, all the Mekk-Knights, so sorry, I actually cut Girsu. Yeah, exactly just like I said at the very beginning of the video, I wasn't a really big fan of the fact that he was already playing a bunch of normal summons, like the Ray. I guess you can argue that Rose can be a special summon, but when you don't have any other normal summon, then Rose will be your normal summon, so that's kind of the thing. And if you have Girsu and Rose, it doesn't work. If you have Girsu and Ray, one of them is useless. It's like, I don't know. And then apart from that, all the Sky Striker spells, I don't think I've touched a single one of them. Like I said, I removed Regeki. I wanted to really play the Upstart and the 3 Desires. Even in a 40 card deck, it didn't really matter. And Ghost Bell is just... I don't think I would necessarily just be set with the Ghost Bell. It's kind of like the flexible spot. Ash, maybe keep it like that, but Ghost Bell, it's definitely back and forth between this and I don't know if other things are worth considering. But yeah, that's it for the deck list, or I mean the deck review of my homie who actually, like I said, showed me this really awesome and really spicy and innovative Mekk-Knight Sky Striker deck. So huge shout outs to you. And again, if you guys want to submit any deck list, please make sure you actually submit them in the Discord server, now link in the description box below. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.